My husband Grant and I are both oceanographers by training. And many years ago when he was in the academic world, he worked and was a colleague with John Toll at State University of New York in Stony Brook. And their paths crossed again at a meeting somewhere here, I forget when. And then about very early '99, John called Grant, who had by then retired from the National Science Foundation, and asked him to come over here to Washington College to help them set up what is now the Center for Environment and Society. I was ready to retire from my international scientific job, and we both fell in love with Chestertown, and came over for an interview, which was actually a dinner at John's house, and decided we liked it here, and we bought a house down on High Street and have been here ever since. So coming on for 15 years next year. I was born in England. As a small child, when I was a small child, my parents emigrated to Canada, where I spent much of my life. I came here to the U.S. in very early '92 when I married Grant. So I've been here now 21, 22 years. Became an American citizen. That was my millennial project in 2000. Just to be clear on that point. I think my main observation, both on the television, when I've seen town council meetings, and being there a few times, is that the current town council, they just don't seem to work together as a team to get things done. If anything, they seem to be working at cross purposes sometimes, and I think things get delayed because of that. And while I think anyone on town council, your first priority should be to represent the residents in your district or your ward, but surely we need the synergy of 4 people who are committed to the welfare of the whole town and to getting things done for the benefit of everyone, regardless of which district they live in. We need to do something about economic development in this town. There's a start. I'm hopeful that maybe things are beginning to turn around here in town, but we still have empty storefronts. We need to do those things that will bring small businesses to this town and get us vibrant again in the center of town, the way it was until, what, 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago. And of course, everyone is going to talk about that. But there are some other things too. I'm concerned about the development of the waterfront and having an area from the bottom of High Street all the way over beyond to the Armory that is available for everyone to use, everyone in town, from the top end of town up Flatland Road down to the waterfront, and not just for those people who have fancy boats to get them in and out of the water. Let's see where we can go with that. I think we have a great opportunity. I'm happy to see a partnership developing between the town and Gown, if you like, the college and the town administration, because I actually think it's something we need not only for the waterfront, but on other fronts as well, right? Sharing of facilities and relationships with the town. As far as the waterfront development goes, I'd like to see how that plays out, I think, a little bit. I'm not, until I find out more about it, fully versed in all the ins and outs of what's going to happen. I mean, none of us are. This group has just been formed, is my understanding. And I certainly, something I would be happy to follow with interest, if not participate in. I was always wondering in my own mind about the wisdom of the town actually owning and operating the marina, for example, whether that was a business the town really wanted to get into. How that would play out, I think we're going to have to wait and see. It's something I would definitely watch with interest. It's right on the bottom of the first ward, the beginning of it, the bottom of High Street. And I'm just hoping that we can get something that's good for everyone here in town out of it. That will also be a big attraction for visitors to town. To come to a place like Chestertown and have, a river walk type of experience along there could be a real draw for visitors.
Yeah.
And I assume there would be some mixed use. I've heard talk about a new marina shop down there for, people on their boats, and there's just so many possibilities. I know there are issues with these economic development corporations in that decision-making capabilities can be somehow removed from the voters and the people they've elected to represent them. So I'm not sure what other models are yet. I'm reading some interesting things about how other towns have done some economic development, and I think we should be open to all the possibilities. I would love to see our town council develop a regular forum, let's say half an hour before the town council meeting once every 3 months, where business owners, people interested in economic development in town could come and have an airing of views and opinions. Sort of a public forum. We do hear talk around town about issues the business owners have, or complaints that the town administration and council aren't doing enough to support them. And yet when I go out and actually go into businesses and talk to owners, I don't hear anything terribly specific. I mean, I do hear a few points here and there, but I wouldn't call them major complaints. So, I mean, if there are these issues out there, let's have some forum for them to be addressed, or at least aired, and then we can start looking at possible solutions or ways to move forward. Still, I think you can't have any long-term gain without some short-term pain. And I'm not saying, that we should get out on a limb here. And I haven't seen the numbers yet. But I sure hope we can come up with something. I'd need to know more to give a fuller answer. I'm sure there are some solutions. And what would be worse than abandoning anything down there and having an eyesore in our hands? It's getting into pretty bad shape already. I think that would be the worst case scenario, would be to just have a white elephant down there that's falling apart. I think that it's also really important that we preserve what's special about Chestertown. And part of that has to do with our historic environment. At the same time, I mean, we've had this whole argument over signage this year, and it's gone on for a very long time, and it's going to go on. I understand that at the town council meeting this week, they've agreed to create a study group to look at it some more. As someone with a technical background, I know there are ways to control the use of technology. I don't think we should discourage young and enterprising businesses from coming here by telling them they can't take advantage of technology. I'm sure that with creative minds there's a way to accomplish both of these goals of preserving what we have here in Chestertown that makes this a special place and encouraging development. I'd love to see what we can do about getting better internet access. Let's get some more high-tech, fiber optic. I know it's expensive, and it's not up to the town necessarily to do that, but let's do what we can to encourage it being brought over here. I understand that it's already here or is coming in for the hospital and the...
It's already here.
Neither do I want to see lots of brilliantly flashing, distracting signs. As I said earlier, I think that there's a way to... we don't want to be Williamsburg. I mean, I've stayed in historic houses in Williamsburg where, it's a lot of fun. But you have to draw the curtains at night, not have any light showing, or park your car in front or anything like that. That's one extreme. The other would be completely uncontrolled, signage, which would be just as ridiculous. Somewhere in between, I'm sure that we can accomplish what we need to do.